So this game has a computer that won't stop peeping at Princess Peach. I have no idea how this game got away with an E rating. Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Man Nintendo, where we discuss all things Nintendo, no matter how awkward they make me feel. And today we're going to be talking about the Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Let's get into it. Alright, first things first, I never played Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door when it first came out for the GameCube, but I've heard wonderful things. This went down as a legendary game in the Nintendo community, and after playing it I can see why. The first thing I want to talk about isn't the gameplay, it's the characters. I think that's why I play any Nintendo game. I just love the themes and the characters, and they genuinely put a smile on my face. They genuinely make me laugh. They focused a lot on character. Like, there's a ton of characters, even minor ones, and they put a lot of attention detail to the characters. Here's one of my favorite examples. So this is Rock Hawk. All right, he's a wrestler and he taunts you. During his segment of the game, he shows up every, I would say, 15 minutes of gameplay or so. I think that's fair. He just shows up and insults you and then just walks away. And I don't know why. I think that's really, I think it's funny. He shows up, does like an over dramatic taunt, and then walks away. And it's like it's this huge build up. And I just thought it was hilarious. It's poking fun at the player. It's setting a mood. He's just comes in, leaves, and then it's business as usual. The other thing I like about him is he's called the Rock Hawk, right? And he'll say stuff like, are you ready to deal with the Rock? Which is a great pun. I think it's funny. And again, the game's just full of characters that just go on like that. I talked about this one on my Twitter. If you want to check it out, link in the description below. But there's this character that I'm playing as Mario, and you can dress up as Wario or Luigi, Waluigi or Luigi, and I'm dressed up as Waluigi. And no matter how I'm dressed up, every time I talk to him, he refers to me as Luigi. Even when other characters tell me it's Mario, and he refuses to believe it because he's a detective and he's deduced I'm Luigi. I just find it funny. You're standing in front of Mario, everyone in the universe knows who he is, and he's like, hey, Luigi. The game obviously focuses, again, heavily on character development. They're all goofy. Some of them are over the top. This game doesn't take itself seriously. Even at the very end when things get really dramatic, it's just poking fun out of itself. I think the environment, even the environments are actually cartoonish, right? They're over exaggerated. Bright colors, dark colors, literally talking ravens in the background, or crows. I think they were ravens. It doesn't matter. Just over-exaggerated stuff, over-the-top wind effects, explosions, characters being over-dramatic for absolutely no reason over the simplest things. It's really cartoonish, but it fits well with the RPG fighting gameplay style of the game. And again, I'm a guy, I just love puns. I love simple, stupid humor. This game's full of it. All right, I'm going to tell you one more because it had me on the floor laughing. And I'm going to warn you, this one was a quick joke and it's cheesy. I don't care. I loved it. It made me laugh. So there's this character, her name is Beldum, and she ambushes Mario and his party. And I'm, getting ready. I'm like, okay, mentally preparing. Boss fight incoming. Okay, there's 3 of them. Do I have enough items? I'm mentally preparing myself. And she's just taunting for a while. Her dialogue just goes on for a while. And in the middle of taunting, this other character, I'll put him on screen, starts taunting Mario too, and Beldum interrupts them and goes, ignore the freak in the sheets, and just keeps insulting Mario. Number one, not only this character's feelings were hurt, that's funny. Number two, you get the innuendo, right? It's a double entendre, and it was hilarious. Again, that's the type of humor that just made me laugh. It's inappropriate only if you get it, and if you don't get it, it's still funny because it does look like there's some, who is this freak in the sheets about to battle Mario? It's just funny. I loved it. So yeah, as you can tell, I think the character development in this game is heavily influenced. I think every character has their own little quirk. It just adds to the world building of the game. Speaking of world building, let's talk about the world building and the gameplay mechanics of the game. So the game is really detailed and unique, and like any other Mario game, every single area is unique to each other. When you're walking to a forest, when you're walking to a desert, a palace, a mansion, a castle, a dark zone, in the sky, a wrestling ring. Thousand Year Doors, an illegal casino, right? It's the ocean. I can go on and on because the world is expansive. There's a lot going on all at once, and luckily there is a transversal system. But the point is, even though there's a lot of these different worlds, they're all unique, as in you can tell what you're walking into. They put a lot of effort into the aesthetics. They put a lot of attention to detail in the background. If you played, you can see it. Broken blankets in a rundown underground sewer, luscious trees in a forest, a twilight moon in the background in the dark zone. You know where you are, and it helps memorize the map easier. Whenever characters in the game are describing locations, you know exactly where they're talking about, so it makes it easier to go to whatever zone. You don't get lost because it's just easy to remember the layout of the game mentally. On top of that, I gotta say, one of the other unique things about the world is there's always something to do in the world besides fight enemies. So Mario gets 6 party members, 7 that I'm aware of. I haven't spoiled the game for myself, but I've been doing some post-credit stuff, and it turns out I can get more party members. I have no idea if I can get more. I'm not spoiling it for myself, but you need 6 to complete the story. And every single party member has a unique ability. You have a bomb mob that can explode and open up new passageways. So the idea is if you see a crack in the wall, boom, you just found a hidden area. If you find a paper flap on the wall, you can blow it down with wind. Boom, you just discovered a new area. Mario himself has special abilities, and he's on top of these characters that are part of your party with their own crazy abilities, hiding in the shadows, throwing their Koopa shells. I could go on. Mario himself has unique abilities. He can jump much higher than usual. He can stomp into the ground and find hidden panels. He can turn into a boat, literally, because he's Paper Mario. He can turn into a paper airplane and fly through an area. It's all over the place, and whenever a game has way too many unique abilities like that, they usually screw it up because they implement all these cool designs and then don't have any use for them. Luckily, I'm happy to say, Thousand Year Door doesn't have that problem. Every character that joins your party, including Mario, has a multitude of uses, and not only can you use them in battle, but you can use them in the world as well. I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of world building here, and it's done perfectly. So let's talk about the RPG element of it, right? This is a turn-based RPG, and it's you and a partner of your choosing versus enemies. It's turn-based. Basically, you can do a bunch of actions, and I think one of the reasons I would praise Thousand Year Door and why it probably got praised when it came out is because there are so many actions you can do and your opponent can do. Mario can jump, use a hammer, he can use his partner, and again, each partner has like, I haven't done the math, but it's a lot. Wind abilities, explosive abilities, hiding in the shadows, fire punches, Koopa shells, Yoshi stomps. There's more, but my point is, if I wanted to, I could go on and on and on, and that's a compliment, because the idea is you've got a lot of options for unique scenarios. You can't, for example, you can't stomp on an enemy with a spike on its head. So what do? You hit it with a hammer, or you have Yoshi gobble them up and throw them at another opponent, right? On top of that, there's items you can use. You can use a POW box to attack enemies. You have special attacks. The list of options of attacks is enormous in this game. I wouldn't say they're all strictly unique, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of them, and you can choose them with your own discretion. Also, when you're doing in a battle, it's Paper Mario, and it acts like it's a stage. So when you go into a battle, you go onto a stage, and there's an audience, and the audience members can be part of the battle. You can rally them up for points to do stronger attacks. Sometimes the audience tries to intervene in the battle and either help Mario and his party or help the opponent. There is a lot going on, but it's a fine line between being chaotic and I just can't play this. They handled it really well. It's under control. As long as you're paying attention, you can do it. Okay, so we've reached the part of the video where I have to criticize the game to show I'm not biased towards Nintendo. So here are the criticisms. Let's go. Every time I review a Mario RPG game, I always mention Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. That is my favorite RPG game, and I keep telling people why. It's the exact same reason. Because the moves and mechanics in that game are amazing. It's like the developers told the people who are building the game and said, think about the craziest attack you can make and just go even crazier with it. Thousand Year Door isn't that special with the attacks. What I mean is, in Paper Jam, I always say this, you can turn Paper Mario into a giant paper hammer and just smash your enemies. In Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Mario can stomp on his enemies, or he can hit them with a hammer. or he can hit him with a hammer and have a chance to freeze your opponent. And that's it. That doesn't sound exciting. I can try to make that sound exciting. Mario jumps on his opponents, but it's Mario. What else would you expect? I don't think they thought about it creatively. Another thing I didn't like about the game is Mario RPG games are notorious for the dialogue, right? That just comes with the territory. But this game goes on and on and on and on. Here's an example. There's this part of the game where it takes place completely on a train, and there's absolutely no action. It's literally going back and forth and listening to people talk and solving mini mysteries the whole time. And it lasts for about an hour, maybe less if you're not taking your time. But I did. I didn't like that, and it's bad. It's so bad that it's worth mentioning to you. There's a section of the game where it's just all talk and moving back and forth the same three zones, and that's it. There's this part in the game where there's a bomb op, and you have to wake it up. And to wake it up, you just stomp on it by pressing A bunch of times. So I sit there for about a minute pressing A, and it doesn't wake up. So I stop what I'm doing, and I Google, how do I wake up this bomb op? And all the posts I saw were like, you just keep hitting it, there's no other way. So the joke is, you have to keep pressing A for an extended period of time. I didn't count how long, but anything over a minute I think is excessive. Now, if you've never played this game and you're outside looking in, you're probably laughing right now because that's pretty funny. Because I got tricked into pressing A bunch of times to the point where I had to Google, how do I wake up this guy? And you still press A. 2 minutes later, you're still pressing A, stomping on the poor sleeping bomb op. I can see why, from your point of view, the viewer, that's pretty funny. From my point of view, I'm insulted. Here's how I know it's bad. Because I saw a bunch of forum posts complaining about that from 2004. But again, overall, guys, the aesthetics, the theme, the humor, the gameplay, the characters, overall, you can tell they put a lot of attention to this. I can see why it's legendary. I can see why people want to play this game. Despite my very long rant about its criticisms, it's still highly recommended. Please pick it up. Thank you for watching. See you guys in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Thank you. Okay, I'm doing this all from memory, so here we go. There's a badge in this game that when you equip it, makes it so that every time you use and hit your hammer, the sound effect is Peach giggling. Speaking of Peach, there is a part in this game where she takes off her clothes and walks around naked. I promise you I didn't make that up. There's this really funny part in the game where this kid wants a present, but nobody can figure out what he wants as a gift, and one of the characters goes like, he wants a Game Boy Advance. There's a toad in the game that won't stop saying it wants a tasty, explosive treat that's sticky while riding a train. A ghost manages to take over Mario's body and won't stop saying how happy it is that it can jump now. That's not inappropriate, but I thought it was funny. There's a character in the game who literally has a shrine dedicated to Peach. I am not making that one up either. There's a toad in this game who says he can't sleep because his neighbor next door keeps making bumping sounds late at night when they're alone. The first toad you meet in the game finds out you're looking for Princess Peach, and then he asks, why are you looking for her? Does she owe you money? So that computer I talked about in the intro of the video has peeped at Peach while in the shower. I should stop. So that same computer forces Peach to dance with a hologram of herself while it watches. I'm not making that up. So there's a part in the game where Mario joins a battle league and they give him a nickname, and for half the game and almost for the rest of the game, all characters refer to Mario as Gonzalez, which isn't inherently bad on its own. I still thought it was worth mentioning. It really bothers me that Miss Mouse wears a mask and high heels, but no pants. So there's a part in the game where Mario accidentally walks in on a guy showering. It's censored from the player's point of view. It is not censored from Mario's point of view. I checked. Literally every single female that Mario meets in this game except for one, ends up having a crush on him. I ask again, how did this game get away with an E rating?